great 4th of July. While you were celebrating the birth of our country, some on the left were bemoaning its very existence. Vox.com commemorated Independence Day with a piece entitled, "3 Reasons the American Revolution Was a Mistake." Progressives despise Donald Trump so much they've begun to dislike the country that elected him. Hate has clouded their vision and distorted their values completely. For generations, for example, liberals championed free speech and privacy and due process. Now they lead the charge against civil liberties and all who dare to defend them. Alan Dershowitz has been a liberal icon for 50 years, a stalwart defender of civil liberties. Just this morning, he was denounced by the left as an agent of the Kremlin, of Vladimir Putin himself. His crime? Suggesting that the president might also be protected by the Bill of Rights, just like everybody else. Not allowed. Professor Dershowitz joins us in just a minute to explain what happened to him. Meanwhile, signs of growing extremism in this country on the left are everywhere. Just yesterday, a Congolese immigrant shut down the Statue of Liberty, our Statue of Liberty, to protest the Trump administration's immigration policies. The left applauded that. But take 3 steps back and think about what you're watching right here. Congo is a war-ravaged hellscape, a country noted for mass rape and cannibalism. Imagine escaping a country like that and being welcomed in our country, the United States. You'd be grateful, wouldn't you? Many Congolese are grateful. This person is not grateful at all. She took over one of our monuments to scream about how racist we are, and progressives support her. They have gone insane. On MSNBC, New York Times columnist Michelle Goldberg explained that 81-year-old Justice Anthony Kennedy somehow betrayed America by daring to retire from the Supreme Court. Watch this.
This is Kennedy betraying the country. The Democrats could have done very
He's 81
little.
Years old and served 30 years. He's not betraying the country.
He
We should
has an
thank him for his
obligation
service.
to not
Why
let
do you have
Trump,
to demean people in that making your point?
Because they
you
are
have a valid point to
destroying
make.
this
You don't
country.
need
Retiring at 81 is betrayal because it's inconvenient to their political plans. And then there's this, yet more casual racism from MSNBC. Notice how it's just assumed that there's something distasteful or even immoral about hiring someone of a specific race and gender. The left used to believe in judging people on the content of their character, not on the color of their skin. That seems like ancient history now. Watch.
For the president, it's going to be all about the personal connection, who he feels comfortable with in the moment.
So you're saying he's going to pick the man, the white man. 90% of Donald Trump's elections for U.S. attorneys and federal judges were white men.
What happened to liberals? Well, a lot of things. One, they lost power, and that drove them off the deep end. They plan to get their power back, no matter what it takes. A new book by Professor David Ferris is called It's Time to Fight Dirty, and it explains how the left plans to do it. Here's the summary of the book from Politico. Quote, grant statehood to D.C. and Puerto Rico and break California into 7 with the goal of adding 16 new Democrats to the Senate. Expand the Supreme Court and the federal courts, packing them with liberal judges. Move to multi-member House districts to roll back the effects of partisan gerrymandering. Pass a new Voting Rights Act, including nationwide automatic voter registration, felon enfranchisement, and an end to voter ID laws. Grant citizenship to millions of undocumented immigrants, creating a host of new Democratic-leaning voters. As Ferris puts it in the book, quote, Republicans have always feared that immigration would change the character of American society. Democrats should reward them with their very worst nightmare. Remember that paragraph. It is the blueprint for what we're about to see. They're going to tell you it's about civil rights or some other principle they pretend to care about, but they're lying. It's about seizing power and holding it. That's their only aim. They're deadly serious about it. While you were grilling in the backyard last night, they were plotting, in effect, a coup. Ethan Behrman is a radio host in California, and he joins us now. Ethan, this really kind of says it all. Conservatives fear that the point of liberal immigration policy is to replace American voters with more pliant, obedient foreigners who will support the Democratic Party. Here you have a guy writing a blueprint for the Democratic takeover of the government saying, that's exactly right, that's our plan. Why shouldn't that offend and terrify the rest of us?
Well, it shouldn't offend and terrify, because what it is it's taking a page from the Republican playbook, right? So right now we just talked about you just talked about the judicial appointees from Trump, for example. That's packing the courts. What about the idea that the Republicans were the party of no for 6 years under President Obama? I'm not a fan of the divisiveness that is happening right now in politics. But why shouldn't the Republicans play the same way that the Democrats play the same way the Republicans do, which is just to oppose?
Look, I will concede this point, which is that politics takes place in the political process, and both parties play hardball, and both parties lack principle, and both parties do things that are embarrassing when they're exposed. But importing immigrants for the sake of changing the political balance and the culture of the country is a different level. We've never seen that before in American history. That strikes me as completely wrong and disempowering to American citizens whom the government is supposed to be representing. Like, it actually is immoral. I don't know how anyone could defend that.
Well, it's interesting because look, if that's the exclusive aim of bringing an immigrant in, that would be immoral. But we should also look at the Republicans and big business, where the Republicans were complicit, bringing in immigrants. Because why do immigrants cross the border?
You're right.
Often it's for a job.
You're not going to get any. You're absolutely right. You're not going to get any argument from me out of this. One of the main reasons that immigrants come to this country is because business groups benefit from it. I absolutely agree with you 100%, which is, it makes it more amazing to me that the left has made common cause with them and now supports it. But don't you think it is fair for Americans of all political beliefs to say, you know, the government exists to represent our interests. You can't bring in ringers because you don't like how the last election went.
Well, there are a couple of different issues there. But first of all, one of the ways that's such a big issue, you know, when we talk about the protests that we were talking about with the Statue of Liberty, among other, you know, the big protests this last weekend, is immigrants have rights here, too. So even if you're not a citizen, anybody on U.S. soil is covered by the 14th Amendment. The courts have ruled on that. So how we treat people really does matter. And I don't like when we use people as political pawns. However, the issue is how we treat people. Are we welcoming people to the United States? Diversity
but what about how they
is
treat us? Wait, hold on. There's a lot about how we treat them. How about how they treat us? If you come here from Congo, there are a lot of great Congolese. I'm not attacking the Congolese. I'm attacking the Congo, which is one of the worst countries in the world. So you come here from there, and you immediately take over one of our monuments and accuse us of racism. Where's the gratitude part where you express happiness that you're in America and thankfulness for all the things that you got from this country? How do you wind up in a place where you're taking over the Statue of Liberty when you're not even an American? I don't understand. Why should we put up with that? Why should we like that?
But it is a great tradition here, and many of us are very upset about the separation of the families at the border, the massive reductions in legal immigration. It was just announced that the president himself just is rolling back through his administration. The Army program that allows people to become citizens. Again, this diversity is a great strength. Many wonderful people have come to the United States and become citizens through these programs.
Look, I'm not saying that Americans or even people in America don't have a right to express their views. I'm for the First Amendment. That's why I'm not a liberal. But explain to me, and be honest, are you comfortable with someone escaping a country like Congo, showing up in our country and immediately denouncing the country that took her in and saved her as racist? Does that bother you at all? Because it bothers me a lot.
She actually established a personal, she's a personal trainer in New York City. She's established a business. She's participating in our process. That doesn't offend me at all.
It doesn't offend you that someone can escape from Congo and then come and shut down the Statue of Liberty on the 4th of July? Really? It doesn't bother you at all?
No, I think it's bringing attention to a really serious problem that we're having right now.
What would happen if you went to Congo, if you showed up in Congo, and, you know, you became a personal trainer in Congo, and you were there a couple years, and you decide, you know, the people of Congo are disgusting, and I'm going to take over the most sacred monument in Congo and shut it down to lecture the people of Congo about how immoral they are. How do you think they'd respond if you did that?
Well, probably not well, and the great news is we are a country ruled by laws and a constitution.
Uh-huh.
But
don't you think there's something wrong? Don't you think it's something wrong? I mean, shouldn't immigrants be grateful? I mean, isn't that kind of like a baseline request that you be grateful to be here? We're letting you in. We're giving you money. We're giving you lots of free stuff, as we do. Shouldn't you be a little thankful? No? Or is that too much?
Who's to say she's not thankful? She's probably thankful in many different ways, but also sees a problem with the way that we're treating people right now.
So why doesn't she write a letter to the editor?
Demonizing the other.
Or you go on MSNBC. She has to shut down our most famous monument on the 4th of July. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that